All right, what I have before me today is a legendary set of E7s. I want to start off by saying I'd kind of like to get a hold of another set. I've been wanting to flow a set of these for a long time, and I finally had a set come through, but I think somebody's done a valve job on them. I don't know, but I think they wrecked the head. There's absolutely no throat on it whatsoever, and I think that killed the intake. It's just basically a straight taper from the seat on down. I don't know. Like I said, I can't imagine this is a factory valve job the way that bowl's all opened up like that, but it may be. But regardless, I'm gonna give you the numbers I got on these, and I'm sure some people are gonna complain and say my numbers are low, just like people complain on my good heads and say my numbers are high. And as I say, I don't know. They're my numbers. They're for my reference. And I feel confident in saying if one head flows more on my bench than another head does, that the numbers are higher. And it's good for A to B testing. And you can take them with a grain of salt, but these are right in where I expected them to be with a factory head. So, well, let me go over the numbers first, and I'll show you the port. All anybody wants to see is the numbers. So what I got is these are 178, 145 intake and exhaust valve. And as you can see, at 100 they went 73, 200 they went 131, 164 at 3, and then they peaked at 4/10, which is what a lot of factory heads do. I did not look for the actual peak number. They started to go turbulent at 4/10, so I assume there may be a mid 170 in there, somewhere between 3 and 4/10, but they went slightly turbulent and peaked right there at 4/10. And then the exhaust was somewhat similar. The 61 at 100, 92 at 200, then 122, then they peaked also at 4/10. They may have peaked between 3 and 4. I don't know. I didn't search for it. I don't spend a lot of time on junk heads. But what I did want to show is I've had a set of GT40Ps in here. I think they were Ps. Pretty sure. Actually, let me look. Give me just a second. I don't want to say the wrong thing here. Just a second. Okay, the reason I couldn't find it is because it's on the back side of this piece of paper. They are a straight GT40. I misspoke on that. But anyways, the numbers I got on those were, they went basically 190, which honestly sounds about right. I think there'd be just a little bit in these E7s if they weren't, with just some basic work. And also, like I said, I'm really not happy with the throat on those. But anyways, they went 190 basically versus 170 on the E7s, and then exhaust, actually the E7s actually did a little better. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know what size valves I had. Yeah, I don't know what size valves. We're on those GT40s. I didn't write it down. But so those were the gist of it. That's about what I would expect for an 80s, smog head. I was maybe expecting a little bit higher. Like I said, I think maybe they might go up in the 180s. I don't know. I need to get a hold of another set and see if that's how all the valve jobs were on them. But back to the head, we got a closed chamber. There is a nasty. Again, I don't think this is a factory valve job, but there's some gains to be had right there blending that. Absolutely. And you may be able to save this port. I don't put this junk on anything, but I like to post numbers if I got them. So let me see if I can show you the intake port. There's really nothing to see. It's just a bone stock 80s cast head, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to post up the numbers since I had them. I try to flow every head that comes through here, so this one's no exception. Hope y'all enjoy. I'm sorry, I did not show the exhaust port. I'm so disinterested in these heads, I apologize. This is the non-EGR crossover port. It's the one I usually test, even though I've actually checked them back to back, and usually it does flow a little bit less, but it doesn't affect it as much as you would think it would. It's usually, I don't know, 5 or 6 CFM, something like that, but there's the air injection nozzle, I guess, or boss. That can be ground down smooth if you're doing some basic port work, and then These again could use some work on the short side. It's a pretty square edge right there where it turns. They got not a huge guide boss. You could knock that down a little bit. And same with the intake, could be knocked down. Like every head, they could stand to benefit from some basic work. And they got some tiny little exhaust ports. But like I said, these flow in there with like them 318 heads I've flowed, and I don't know, about everything. Chevy had a better head definitely in the 80s than Ford and Dodge did. The Ford and Dodge stuff was kind of comparable, but the Chevy stuff was definitely a click above. So I just want to throw the exhaust port in there in case anybody's curious. But I'm guessing if you're watching this, you already got a set of E7s and don't really care what they look like. So as I said before, have a nice day.